Reading of the name, we've got Michael Guy. Everybody give Mike a big hand clap.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is one of our traditions as part of this great day. This is a longer list than normal, but I appreciate your attention and respect since this is a very silent time for us. We've been away for a year, but we thought it was an important time for us to gather. We're so glad to be here, but we want to make sure that we honor those that we've lost over the last 2 years. It's a pretty long list, so I appreciate your respect as we go through these and we'll kind of split up the names. And again, Jerry, wonderful job. Thank you. Barbara Manning Shane. Maria Redmond Pointer. Dr. Olivia Davis Lett. Gladys Harris Tardy. Juanita Millet. LaDonna Tamaguasta. Pray Paul Allard. Richard Dick David Cross. Jonathan McCarthy. Richards Majors. Keith Dwayne Norman. Vicky Flowers Haynes. Robnika Gibson. Nate Sanders. Calvin Cody McDuffie IV. Manelia Molly Guy Wilson. Michael Evans Pointer. Marcia Redmond Pointer. Ovid Brown. Stephen Clark. Sean Thomas Jr.
It's a B right there.
Patricia McFadden Rosario. Darlene Johnson Todd Manning. Hubbard Logan.
Betty Scott. Josephine Josie Green Norman. Barbara Kuzbowski. Joseph Barton Bart Cross. Bertha Reno Cross. Thomas Tommy Cross. Thomas Merchant. Arnold Buster Lett. William Billy Cross Darnell. Barbara Morris. Homer Smith. Deborah Williams Montgomery. Bernice Brown Logan, Betty Sawyer Lutza, Sharon Cook, Steve Peters, Joyce Manny Kills, Lemoyne Green Smith, Steve Ross, Connie Flowers Johnson, Kinsley Sophia Moore, baby, James Duffy, Ellen Dora Anderson Norman Wimberly, Author Eddie Norman, Ali Johnson, Richard Allen Cross, Sandra Touchtone Todd,
John Benjamin Pointer, Gloria Smith, Charles Holman Sr., Raymond Mackey, Early L. Peterson, Craig Jones, Brian Flowers, Xavier Guy, Samuel Wilson, Arthur Whitted, Jose Ramon Reyes, John Allen Maddox, Ivan Stewart Jr., Robert Bob Pointer, Marjorie Ione Sawyer Todd, Jeffrey W. Berry, Nora L. Ping Mannings Cummings, Retha Rice Page, Warren Williams, Larry Palmer, Lester Sleep Jr., Peggy Louise Sawyer Williams, Deanna Norman, Raymond Pointer Sr., Carl Lee Peterson, Clarence Henry Pratt, Martha Torres Cole, Valerie Ann Cross, Lawrence Larry Anderson, John Pratt, Patricia Pat Davis, and Nicole Karen Johnson. What we're going to do next is we're going to eulogize everyone here. And we have the pastor of the Wheatland Church of Christ, Reverend Gary Green.
That is a lot of names.
and Lorna Maxine Green Wade.
Well, thank you for catching that. When Brother Shelby asked me to do this a few weeks ago, what you didn't know is that God had already given me a message for today. He gave it to me 2 years ago. I didn't know why he gave it to me, but when you asked me, then I knew. When we read these names and we remember, it reminds me of a story that I found in the Bible, Joshua chapter 4. God had brought the Israelites out of the desert and across the Jordan River and into the promised land. And as he was bringing those children across that river. He sent the men back into the river and said, grab 12 stones out of that river. And here in the promised land, set up a memorial. Set those 12 stones up as a memorial so that when your children ask you and your grandchildren ask you, what do these stones mean? You can say to them, this is to memorialize the fact that our ancestors went before us and crossed over this Jordan River, and how God had dried up the river so that we could cross. And when I think about these names and those that had went before them, I think about a generation of people who blazed the trail for us today. They opened doors that were previously closed to us. They faced slavery. Many of them were brought here on slave ships, prisoners of war. They faced slavery, they faced racism, they faced bigotry and hatred, they faced Jim Crow and segregation. And they handed us a heritage, a godly heritage. They handed us a world where we won't have to face the same things that they face. Proverbs chapter 13 tells us that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children. They left us an inheritance, a world that we don't have to fight the same fights that they fought, at least not in the same way. They loved God with all of their hearts. They clung to the word of God to help them to blaze those paths for us. The Bible tells us that God visits his loving kindness to 1,000 generations for those that loved him, that kept his word. Those who went before us, they loved God and they kept his word. And we right now reap the benefits of their commitment. We reap good things. We live in favor. We live in blessings because they blazed the trail for us. They built upon things that other folks had already set in place, and they continue to build. And so my challenge to us as we move forward, our challenge is that we don't let that inheritance die with us. That we hand down to our children and our grandchildren a godly legacy, so they don't have to fight some of the same fights that we had to fight and those that went before us had to fight. Can I get a commitment from some folks that they're not going to let that inheritance die here in this generation? Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you. My name is Gary Green. May God bless you.
Give another hand clap. I'm going to wear your hands out today. It's just the fact that we're all standing here is a blessing in itself. All right, this time I want to get some thank yous out and a couple words from our sponsor. The first one is the importance of social distancing. Please respect each other's boundaries, whatever they are. If somebody tell you to stand back, just stand back. It's just a friendly little thing. Everybody just trying to take care of themselves. All right? Can we do that? Yeah. All right. We also have a few tables around where we've got some old settler gear over here that's running out. Carol's got some books on sale in the back. So 50-50 lottery tickets are being sold as well. So make sure that you help out with the causes. I'd like to thank Chuck Cross Jr. for designing the program. He does a great job for us every year. And thanks to George Crawford and his grandson for securing the folding chairs. Can I get a hand clap from over there? All right, all right. Can I get George Crawford, Ray Pointer Jr., Tyrone Fleming and Marcus Todd up here, please.
Don't lose your shoes. Ask your brother, does he want to go? Ask Laser, does he want to go?
Everybody reach deep in their wallets and pocketbooks. It takes funds to make these reunions possible. I was able to secure these ugly Michigan State Spartan pails today.
And you just lost your donation.
I got a money green so you can put the money in them. Ray Pointer Jr., are you here? Okay. We've got Michael Guy substituting for Ray Pointer Jr. They're going to walk around and slap you around for some money. I don't even want to see none of y'all at the gas station after this. That's how the program works.
One up here. Why don't you go give it to him when he gets over here? So he's gonna give George it, if you can get it. He's right there.
Thank you.
Hey, Jay, good to see you.
You didn't see George, that's George.
How you doing?
He's cousin.
Hello, how you doing?
He's your Grandpa Jimmy's cousin.
I'm doing well. You take care. I see those movies growing.
All right, y'all.